Good evening, everyone. I have tonight a very distinct honor and a privilege to be presenting to Amory Lovins Appalachian State's Wild Turkey Award. I've got to tell you, I feel like the kid who's had 1 year of guitar lessons and now I get to jam with Eric Clapton. I Googled the Wild Turkey Award, and you'll be surprised to know that this is the only Wild Turkey Award in existence. We established the award about 5 years ago, and in that time, we've awarded it to approximately 28 do-gooders. And it is meant to recognize sustainability contributions in our community. And tonight, after we bestow this award to Amory Lovins, all of those past recipients can feel a little bit better about themselves knowing that they're now in the same club as Amory Lovins. But when we decided to call it the Wild Turkey event, the first thing we did was we got a committee together, because that's what we do. And we decided upon the wild turkey because, A, it's a local bird and it's proud, and anything that can live locally here and thrive is very resilient. Wild turkeys are very intelligent, they're tough, and when necessary, they can be ornery. They are both proud and majestic, and there is a Lakota Indian tradition where wild turkeys are referred to as earth eagles. Symbolically, they represent generosity, abundance, the importance of community, and connection with the earth. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the man Amory Lovins. I studied his resume, and it is a very long resume. Multiple pages, single-spaced, and it is dense. It's like star matter. I'm not sure I understood a lot of it, but I encourage you to go to the Appalachian Energy Summit webpage and read it. And he is truly an amazing individual. But among his notable accomplishments, he's been a MacArthur Fellow. He studied at both Harvard and Oxford. He has 12 honorary degrees. In 1982, he founded Rocky Mountain Institute, an entrepreneurial think and do tank, headquartered in Colorado. But in short, he has briefed 23 heads of state. He has published 31 books. He's authored almost 500 papers. He's delivered thousands of lectures, a few right here. But the man's professional accomplishments are second to none. And as I was reading his resume, I couldn't help but wonder if he would put the Wild Turkey Award on his resume. We also honor Amory for his contributions to the Appalachian Energy Summit. In some ways, he's the grandfather or the godfather of our event. He was part of a small group that birthed the idea in January of 2011. And 5 months later, we had the first Appalachian Energy Summit. We pulled it together in light speed, but through his guidance, the idea had come together. His first keynote here was Reinventing Fire. I urge you to go watch it. It's on our website. He came back later and delivered an address entitled Imagine a University, and we still try to imagine that very same university. But having Amory Lovins on board with the Appalachian Energy Summit in year one gave us instant credibility, gave us instant star power, and I honestly don't think the event would have the stature that it has today without his help in starting the event. Aside from his professional accomplishments, Amory is an amazing person, and those of you that know him are nodding your head, I'm sure, in this moment. But he has this brilliant ability to connect and to inspire people. To give you my own experience, I've met Amory just a handful of times, and when I see him, he comes up to me, he picks me up, he gives me a big bear hug, and in the process, he gives me an expert chiropractic adjustment. True story. But the point is, this is a man who entertains heads of state, captains of industry, and when he sees me, he makes me feel special. And that's something, a story that repeats itself over and over and over. Last year, one of our keynote speakers was not feeling well. Amory went into doctor mode. He opened up his bag, he had vitamins, he was making calls, but the man truly cares, and it is indeed a rare mix of skills and personal qualities that he has. I got one more example of his ability to connect. One day, he showed me on his cell phone that a bonobo ape had drawn a picture specifically for him. And so the story goes that the ape had requested a canvas and then proceeded to draw a picture specifically for Amory. And so the point is, Amory had created this personal connection, and he had inspired this magnificent creature to act. And he inspires us all to act. And I'm certain that these connections that he's made have formed a worldwide web of friends, colleagues, compatriots, all joined together to make our world more efficient, more safe, more verdant, more just for all of its inhabitants. And Amory Lovins, it is my profound honor to call you to the stage and to induct you into Appalachian's Order of the Wild Turkey.
Here's an envelope with a pencil.
Thank you, Jed. Well, you know, maybe if you feel special, it's because you are special. But I'm really glad you're well adjusted and everything you're cracked up to be. Oh, and by the way, what that bonobo was doing was thanking me for having organized the design of her and her family's house. So she called for painting materials and made a nice tempera painting of 3 of her favorite things: blueberries, eggs, and Perrier. It's a little impressionistic. But this was a bonobo that could understand several thousand words of spoken English, sort of toward the upper end of what an Oxford or Cambridge graduate could do in the time of Shakespeare, and a much higher primate. And what was most interesting about designing the house is we put the apes on the team because you can ask them what they want and they tell you, and they're quite good designers. So we keep looking for those opportunities as the search for intelligent life on Earth continues. Occasionally some promising specimens turn up. That visit, Jed, that you and the little Smith brothers came, that delegation from Appalachian State was quite a memorable event for us too. And I was just in the throes of finishing up the Reinventing Fire book, which you may remember showed as a business book quite rigorously but readably how to run a 2.6-fold bigger U.S. economy in 2050 with no oil, no coal, no nuclear energy, a third less natural gas, but tripled efficiency and quintupled renewables. And we figured out this would cost $5 trillion, less than business as usual, would require no new inventions and no act of Congress, but could be led by business for profit. And I'm pleased to report that 5 years later, the U.S. is approximately on that trajectory, not because Congress told us all what to do, but because the private sector smells the $5 trillion on the table, and that's just what ought to be happening. And my colleagues and I were very pleased and proud to be able to help your little piece of that happen right here, and you're already $400 million of savings into it in the university system across the state. I think that's a record to be very proud of and to build on, with everything else that goes with it around water and food and waste and all the kinds of advantageous, elegant frugality that you work on here. So I am very honored to accept this award. Wild turkeys, my ex-wife told me, are very smart. She used to hunt them in West Virginia, and she said they are smart enough to know whether your gun's loaded, and if it's not, you'll see them all over the place, and if it is loaded, you won't see any. So maybe I can learn something from that sagacity. And I just was photographing some wild turkeys out in western Colorado a few weeks ago, so it's good to know that they're in 2 good places. Thank you all, and I look forward to our conversation later on. Thank you.